What's up, fuckers? What's up, players?
What's up?
What's going on?
Chilon.
We're going into week 5 now. What's up? Chris hit it.
All right, let's go right in with the recaps. We're going to start with my game. The Bad Hombres 140. We put it on Vino Poppies 106. It's, again, Cooper Kupp always comes through for me. I love that guy. He's like probably my favorite fantasy football player right now. Just killing it. DeAndre Hopkins laid another egg. Almost bed shitter status. But I'm not quite going to put him there yet. 6 points. And who else had a big game? Oh, Austin Eckler. His last farewell before Melvin Gordon takes over. He puts up almost 30 points. So I was very happy with that. Let's see. Lady Boys. That's the next game. Lady Boys was versus Over Easy. The Lady Boys put up 205 points. The Lady Boys fought back. Finally put up a decent score.
After all the shit we talked.
After all the shit we talked about. And due to the stat correction gods, freaking the Lady Boys actually have been the no talent pussy for 2 weeks now. 2 out of the 4 weeks. And they came back with a vengeance for week 4 and put up some good numbers. So
you could say that the Lady Boys have had quite the transformation.
The best performance all year from any team.
Yeah. Devontae Adams had 45 points at the half. I don't think he scored a single point in the second half of that game. He was at one point he was projected to score like 80. I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's crazy. And Jared Goff, 55 points in our league. That's insane. So that's pretty much what did it for the Lady Boys.
Yeah.
Decent game. The next game was the Tropics versus them Lions, and this one was a fucking nail biter.
Fucking shootout, man.
For sure. 2 fucking heavyweights in our league. Tropics put up 182, them Lions 176. And I think this game put them Lions on tilt a little bit because there was a monster trade that went on in our league, and we'll touch on it a little later. It involved our boy Tom here and Las Vegas United, and it's, I don't know, a blockbuster of a fucking trade. I don't know if we'll ever see another trade this big this season, but we can touch on that later.
Yeah. I think Dem Lions, man, last week he had an off week on prior week, but then this week came out and put up astronomical numbers again. So maybe he is going to put up stuff like that.
But Flint Tropics is like quietly dominating. They're doing really well week in, week out, and
for sure
they're looking pretty good. That's the team that you
tied with, right?
Yeah, that's the team I tied with.
So that they would have lost if it wasn't for the stat correction, right? Because you were winning, and then the stat correction tied you also.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, bro,
Leonard Fournette killed it for him.
You know what I'm saying? I'm up against the Tropics this week, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, hopefully, I'm rooting for you this week, bro.
Bro. The next game was Crossfaded versus Defensor Fortis, and this was a fucking blowout, man. Crossfaded, pobrecito. I'm gonna pour one out for.
That's all.
69 fucking points, bro, and that's because Tom, you rounded up, right?
Yeah, it was 68 points, 5 or something like that. So I gave him the 69. Crossfaded appreciates that number, so
there we go.
It was rough. This is the first time that a team doesn't break triple digits. We had 2 teams actually. One of them's on with us right now, but this was definitely the lower scoring one.
Yeah.
Crossfaded had a rough week against
Nelson Aguilar. Put up a goose egg. Right. You don't see wide receivers put up goose eggs too often.
Not really,
especially in PPR, bro. Especially in PPR, it's hard to do.
Defensor Fortis had a mediocre game at 130, and Crossfaded did not take advantage of it. Defensor Fortis remains undefeated.
4-0.
Reigning champ.
4-0. The next game, Culon Santo versus Ass and Titties. This was a Fundio Bowl, and the first ever Fundio Bowl winner is Ass and Titties. We'll send him the trophy. It's going to be a
wide
big
margin.
By a
wide margin.
I like the puns. Oh, motherfucker.
Pour one out for my ego.
130, 90. Who disappointed for you, Culon?
Dude, Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady. He got me like 2.7 points, and that's it. The whole game.
It was his alter ego, Tim. It was Tim Brady.
It was Tim Brady.
No, and all my wide receivers got like single digit. They got up in single digits.
The Green Bay defense too.
Green Bay defense got me -1.
-1.
Damn. Yeah. And damn, dude. Green Bay defense should be the fucking bed shitter of the week. -1 points. Fuck. That's crazy, man. I don't know, man. I don't think Tom Brady's ever going to have, for the rest of the season, another 2-point game. Let's hope not for your sake.
Yeah.
But the Buffalo Bills are legit, man. That's a legit defense they got over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I think they had a good
They may have won that game if the Patriots didn't have like a historically great defense. It's kind of insane.
Right. All right. The last and final game, Las Vegas United versus the Gridiron Throne. This is a little friendly fire here. You guys want to talk about those game? Y'all want to just talk it out real quick and run us through that one?
I'm pleased with the result.
Yeah, it was looking okay for me until Nick Chubb went off and scored 60. So.
Yeah, I was quietly biting my nose for the first game of the day, and Nick Chubb off for that touchdown, and
my receivers didn't play very well. Thielen especially didn't perform, so I traded his ass.
There you go.
But yeah, Mike had a great game. Chubb Chubb put 60 up. You can't really, when someone puts up 60, it's going to be tough for you to win. So
yeah. I was sweating because McCaffrey was going off, and then Nick Chubb saved my life. So I'm thankful to him.
I think it was the longest play from scrimmage for the season. It was the 88-yard run or something like that, where he just fucking took it to the house, and that was probably like a 15-point play right there, man. So that was a tough one there. Tom, do you want to get into the standings, the current standings after 4 weeks?
Well, let's get into it. So we have in the Earth division, we have Defensor Fortis sitting at 4-0, like we said. Mahomes keeps performing for him. These last 2 weeks, he hasn't been putting up like crazy numbers, but he's getting the dubs.
Getting the job done.
Dem Lions again putting up crazy numbers, but he falls to Flint Tropics. He put up 176. And he would have beaten I think everybody but one other team. VU. He would have beat everybody but Lady Boys, and of course. So he's putting up numbers. He'll be just fine. I think he's at 2-2. Finally, or not finally, but Las Vegas United, my team, 1-3, 498.6 points. Not a good showing for me again. I'm at 1-3. I got to change it up a little bit, and that's what I did this week. And then
I think this is a good time to get into it before we get too far away, since we just touched on the Lions. Just a real quick recap your trade that you made with the Lions this week.
Yeah, so last week I was talking to Dem Lions, Mike. I was looking into trading for Travis Kelce. I love Kelce. Kelce's my boy. I had him last year. I was going to give him Kittle, and I'm not going to get into whatever, the details and the specifics of what that trade was going to be like. And then so Monday we started talking about potential trade, and I'm like, maybe like I'm kind of hurting, and I'm kind of getting desperate. Like I feel like my team is good. It's not performing. I was like, maybe I should trade McCaffrey. And he was like, well, how about this? And so he started throwing, trade scenarios at me. And, he threw a few at me that I didn't like. And then he offered Dalvin Cook. And I was like, you know what? I can do that. So I traded Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Adam Thielen. And he gave me Travis Kelce, Dalvin Cook, Carson Wentz, and who am I missing? Travis Kelce, Dalvin Cook, Carson Wentz, and receiver, Carolina. Not DJ.
Samuel.
Curtis Samuel. So,
damn, that's a hell of a trade.
I feel like, obviously McCaffrey's probably the best player in fantasy right now. But I feel like I won in the trade. He feels like he's kind of gambling a little bit, but if McCaffrey keeps balling, then he'll be just fine. So yeah, definitely a huge trade. We both traded away half of our starters essentially. So we'll see how that goes for the rest of the year.
Usually the rule of thumb is whoever ends up with the best player wins the trade. But I don't think that applies in this case, because obviously Christian McCaffrey is the best player involved in the trade. And Dem Lions ended up with Christian McCaffrey. But I think the fact that you get arguably the number one tight end in the entire league. Dalvin Cook, who's a top tier running back, not that far off from Christian McCaffrey, and you get Carson Wentz, and that should solve the quarterback troubles that you've had all season. I think that's a fucking huge win for you, man. And just one last thing on the trade. Them Lions through 4 weeks, even though they're 2-2, they're the highest scoring team in the entire league. They put up 678 points. And if I was maybe because I'm more risk adverse, and I wouldn't have taken that trade. I wouldn't have initiated it just because you have to understand that sometimes you have bad matchups, and even though you're 2-2, you still have a fucking squad that's putting up a shit ton of points, but no risk it, no fucking brisket, right? So it sounds like both of you are trying to fucking go for it and win. Yeah. And that's fucking awesome.
I think for me, man, it's like Kittle hasn't been putting up the numbers that he will be. I think he'll get there throughout the season, right? But, I think it's going to take Garoppolo and Garoppolo a little bit, to get their chemistry back up. But for me, man, I needed Kelsey. I needed to have that for sure at tight end, and I was going for Kelsey, and it just worked out that way. Like I think Kittle's going to be great as long as McCaffrey stays healthy. He's going to be fine. But I definitely feel like I won just because I got the quarterback situation settled, and I'm getting Dalvin Cook. Yeah. And I don't see, like you said, I don't see Dalvin that far off of where Christian McCaffrey is right now. So, we'll see, man. We'll see how this trade goes, but definitely a huge motherfucker, dude. So,
dude. I'll tell you right now, bro, your team is not a 1-3 team. Even though you're 1-3 right now, after all this trading, that's a fucking squad that you got now. So that's going to be awesome to see how it plays out. So Vino Poppies rounds out that, what is it? The Earth. The Earth. All right.
Yeah. All right, so Vino Poppies is in shambles though, man. So like it's pouring out for him. He's 0-4. He's losing a bunch of players.
His team doesn't look like it's getting better either.
He's trying though. He's trying. I know he's mixing it up. He's trying to make these trades happen. I think he's hit everybody up trying to trade Julio, but we'll see. Maybe somebody will dance.
Take him up, yeah.
Right. And all right. Go to the win division. Aston TDs is sitting at number one in that division at 3-1, 599.86 points. Then we got Chris, the Bad Hombres, at number 2, 2-2, 566.9 points. Crossfaded sitting at that third spot at 2-2 as well, 530.92 points. And then Over Easy drops to the last spot in that division, 1-3, 562.38 points. So that's a pretty interesting division, man. I mean, I know Aston Teams is at 3-1, but there's 2-2 teams in there, and even Over Easy, Hurt squad isn't that bad. So it's a very competitive division, the most competitive division so far.
I was looking at her performance over the last couple of weeks, and she's been doing like pretty respectably. It's just she's had some historically great performances against her. So we'll see if she can turn her luck around next week.
Yeah, Over Easy made some trades. She made some trades this past week that I think made her squad a little bit stronger since Saquon went down. And Saquon is running. Yeah. He's running in practice. He may be back sooner than we think.
Yeah, he's eyeing. I was reading on ESPN earlier today that he's eyeing a return next week on the 10th, which would be pretty quick for a recovery.
He's superhuman, man. If he can make it back that quick, because that's he was. Initially, they were thinking like 6 to 8 weeks or something like that, and it's he might come back in 3 to 4. Yeah, that's wild.
And Fire Division, we have that's pretty good division right now. Flint Tropics at 3-0-1, 662.76 points. Then we have Mike, the Gridiron Throne, at 3-0-1 as well, 611.04 points. Then the Bangkok Ladyboys, who's been the lowest scoring team, the last place team for the first 3 weeks of this season, slots into that third place spot in the division, 1-3, 570.56 points. He put up 200 last week. What a fucker. And then we have Marlon Coulon Santo at 1-3, 506.66 points. So those are the standings currently in Superliga.
Yeah.
Back to you, Chris.
So let's get into the next segment, our fucking favorite segment of the whole, or my personal favorite segment that we do. Tom, you want to hit him with it?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy? All right, so our who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
This week, AJ Brown. AJ fucking Brown. Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Tennessee. Who the fuck is that? Wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. 3 catches. This is some Randy Moss shit right here. 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, 94 yards. Unbelievable. And he's got Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota throwing him the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So that's our
Vino
Poppies.
Poppies.
That guy.
I saw Vino Poppies picked him up this week, so we'll see. He lost John Ross.
Maybe,
and picked up.
right. Yeah.
Picked up his
Yeah.
So.
I don't know, man. Maybe he'll be a one hit wonder, but we'll see. Maybe he can recreate that hell of a game that he had. All right, so our squander, who's the squanderer this week?
Crossfaded.
68 points, 69 points.
all the points.
Who did he leave on his bench? Right. You want to run through that real quick?
He left Freeman, 18 points at the running back position, and he had started. Well, he had Elliott, but he could have started him at his flex. He started Lindsey from Denver, who scored him 7 points. Then he didn't start Jarvis Landry. He could have started him instead of Aguilar, who fucking dropped a 0 bomb on him.
Yeah, because how many points did Landry score? Like 40?
40.7, yeah. And then Jimmy Graham, who's also on the bench, scored 18 points, and his starting tight end was Delaney Walker with 1.4. And then defense. He started Minnesota, who scored him 2 points, and New Orleans scored 11 for him on the bench. So he probably would have broken triple digits had he started those guys. So he's definitely this week.
Yeah.
Squandered it this week, man. All right. So who's the bed shitter of the week this week? Who? You smell that? What is that? I know we talked about him earlier, but Nelson Aguilar. You can't put up a fucking goose egg, Nelson, especially when he was coming off of 2 good games.
Wide receiver in PPR.
I know, a wide receiver in PPR, but he had a 30-point game. Just catch it. A 30-point game and then a 22-point game, something like that. 2 good games in a row, and then crossfaded finally starts him, and what does he do? Puts up a 0. So that's our bed shitter of the week. All right, and to stay on theme, and then, I know we're picking on crossfaded here. He's been the fucking
topic of three times.
The no talent pussy of the week.
I mean, I don't think we have to elaborate on anything.
It was a no-talent pussy, but at least he listened.
We pretty much talked about how shitty he's done this week, and he's been a great, he's had a great season until last week. So no talent pussy of the week honors, he deserves them this week for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. We'll all be there, maybe. I know, we're picking on him. All right, this is another one of my favorite segments because I get to drink beer. Pour them out. We got a couple nominees this week. We've already talked about this guy a little bit. John Ross the turd on IR. He's on IR. I think he has a bum shoulder. He's going to be out for at least 8 weeks because he's on IR officially. So John Ross the turd, it was nice knowing you. You had 2 good games.
I want to say that's never happened on the show before. We've never had someone go from who the fuck is that guy to, we're pouring one out for him. So
yeah.
We've never seen that. It's never happened here.
No, he did the history of this show.
Dude, it's unprecedented.
The highs and lows. Check this out. The highs and lows. He was the trifecta, the holy trinity. He was who the fuck was that guy? He was the bed shitter, and now we're pouring him out for him. It's only
going down the list, man.
And we're just
tomorrow he's gonna die.
Marlon.
Yeah, I got dark real quick.
Yeah, damn. All right, Marlon, who's your nominee this week?
I mean, my boy, dude, Steven Gostkowski.
Yeah.
He injured his hip. What is he though? He injured his hip in practice or something.
Hey, how old is fucking Gostkowski?
I'm not sure, man.
I think he was in the league like in 1996 or something. Like he's out there. He's old as fuck. I don't think he's as old as Vinatieri though. Yeah, I don't know. They might be the same age. But at least Vinatieri fucking tackled Herschel Walker, bro. At least he did that. Gostkowski has never hurt fucking.
That's what did it. That's what did it.
All right. So our next segment is the big cock on the block, and I hate to say. It's so fitting that it is Lady Boys, the Lady Boys with the big cock on the block.
When a lady boy becomes a lady man.
It's a beautiful thing.
Congratulations, Lady Boys. I face him this week, so it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Hopefully he goes back to sucking for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can.
All right, let's go through next week's games real quick, and then we'll fucking sign off here. Let's see.
You got Over Easy versus Gridiron Throne is the first one. So that's Mike versus my wife.
Yeah, I'm
See, that's
less than a 1-point favorite right now. We'll see if things change.
Yeah. Those
hopefully T.Y. Hilton comes back for me.
Yeah, but those players that she added made that game a lot closer, man, than it would have been like a week ago. So I think those moves that she made are going to pay dividends here, and then it should be a really good game, really close game.
All I can hope is that Matt Ryan continues to suck.
Maybe
going up against does he have a favorable matchup this week? Or
he's going
no?
he's got the Texans, who's not the greatest secondary. Pass rush is there, but that secondary could be a little shaky sometimes.
Matty Ice will put up some points, I think, man. I don't have faith in our secondary, Texans secondary. So I predict 18 points, Mike. Not too bad.
18.
That's respectful.
The next game, Las Vegas United versus the Ladyboys. We already talked about that a little bit. It's projected to be close, right? Or I know you're projected to beat them, right?
Right. You got Tom. 13 points
before the trade, no. After the trade, yes, but barely.
There you go. Okay, so the next game, Flint Tropics versus the Bad Hombres. According to Yahoo, he's supposed to beat me, by 10 points, but I don't trust those projections, man. I think I'm going to hand him his first L this week. We'll see if that comes to fruition.
I'm rooting for you, Chris, because I want to take over as division leader, so I got to knock him. Bro. He's got to get knocked out.
We'll see what happens, man. I'll try to do the favor for you. The next game, Defensor Fortis versus Ass and Titties. I think Fortis is supposed to win that game. It's projected to win that game. But again, two teams that are doing great. Ass and Titties are 3-1. Defensor Fortis 4-0. So two heavy hitters for sure. And then Marlon, your team, Culon Santo versus Vino Papis. Bro, this is like the relegation battle at the bottom of the league. 1-3 versus 0-4. Somebody's got to win the fucking game.
This matchup reminds me of like a flat soft drink. When you go and you're grabbing a soft drink and like you drink out of it, it's like flat. Yeah. This is what this game is. Marlon, you have to win it, dude.
A big red that you opened a week ago and it's just been sitting in your fridge, and then you go and then you crack it open and it doesn't even. It's just flat as fuck.
Just think, one of these teams is gonna win and they're still gonna have a losing record.
Oh man! And then we're so mean.
Hey, if I win, I'm still gonna have a losing record.
My
bad. And then Crossfaded, hopefully, maybe can pull up the upset of the fucking century and beat them Lions. We'll see how them Lions' team does after the trade. It sounded like he might have a little bit of buyer's remorse. I think he was kind of asking you, Tom, right, about the trade a little bit after it got done. But I think
he told me he was rolling the dice. He told me he was rolling the dice, which he is. But we'll see, man. I mean, his receivers are performing, so he didn't get. Well, he did get rid of one, but it was a bench guy for him. So,
and again, at the end of the day, he might have ended up with the best running back in fucking football or fantasy football, McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to see how it changes his team.
So can I just say kudos for pulling off, dude. Trading is so fucking stressful, man. It is so stressful sometimes, trying to coordinate everything, making sure that everybody involved feels like they won. It's hard to pull those trades off. So fucking kudos for getting it done. And I think it was a good trade all around.
There are some players in our league that just throw out some disrespectful trades. I'm not going to mention any names. But there are some disrespectful traders out there. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Leave it at that. And on that note, that was it, man. That's week 4. We'll fucking see y'all for week 5. And we're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.